Welcome to another Tutorial Tuesday, everyone. A few things on our plate. Number one, get out and vote. Number two, I'll be doing a real-world review of a new camera bag that I bought. Number three, you're going to be with me on the run as I scout some locations for some winter engagements. Absolutely. Here's a couple tips. Number one, if you're using a flash, trigger it a couple times and make sure the horse doesn't get spooky on you. Number two, if you can tell that the horse is being stressed out with the shoot, take breaks. So shoot every 5 or 10 minutes. Thanks for asking this question. I'll take a couple videos to address it. Number one, I get asked all the time if people can go with me to shoot a branding. And what I tell them is, it's not my place to invite people. I've been invited, but it's not right for me to invite people. The answer to this question is, just ask. Find a local rancher and see if they'll be willing to let you come out and cover their activities. And remember this, it's one thing to have access, it's another to have acceptance and their trust. This is a good question. I always like the technical side of photography because it's a big challenge for us to learn that side. The quick answer to this is yes. 95% of my images are all done in manual. Just to finish this question up, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using the creative modes like AV or TV, which in Canon models that's aperture priority or shutter priority. I just choose to use manual. I want 100% control over my images. Just kidding. I have one more thing about this question. When I started out, I was using the creative mode AV to control my aperture, but once I got comfortable with the exposure relationship and how everything worked together, then I started shooting in manual. There are no shortages of website hosts from Zenfolio to SmugMug, Squarespace, GoDaddy, Wix, and Weebly. Any of those you can use to host your website. Look for ones that have a back end that allow you to put galleries up. For me, I use Zenfolio.com. I purchased a couple domain names through GoDaddy, and then I have those domain names redirect to my galleries at Zenfolio. That works out really well for me and has for many, many years. Something else you should consider is the use of a payment provider. So I use PayPal. The other side of our business uses Square, and you can invoice through there. You can send out reoccurring payments and things like that. So take that into consideration as well. I love these questions. You probably won't see a Twins hat on me for a little bit of time, but I might surprise you. At least they're in the same league, and maybe I should share a funny story about Kirby Puckett. I have his autograph and how I got it. Oh boy. This is such a really good question. Thanks so much for asking it, Russ. My favorite modifier is my 5-foot Octobox. The quality of light that comes out of it and the transition of light on the subject's face is just absolutely beautiful. Love it. One more thing about that 5-foot Octobox that I love so much is I'll put it up on my boom arm and I'll treat it just like I would a beauty dish. While the results would be drastically different, much softer than that from a beauty dish, I love it. Hey Jordan, thanks for asking the question here. I'll take a couple videos and address it for you. Number one, it all starts for me by shooting raw, so I have maximum flexibility over my images. And in the next video, I'll talk about presets. As far as presets go, I set up my own based on how I shoot and the time of day I shoot, even the locations that I shoot at, like events or meeting rooms or outside. But in my white balance, when I'm outside, I always have it on cloudy. I know a lot of people have calibrated their monitors, and let me just say there's nothing wrong with that. I calibrated my monitors once years ago, and I've never done it again, and they're just simple 22-inch Dell monitors, nothing special. Two more things on this topic. Number one, while I am in editing, I'm trying to maintain accurate skin tones. So a purple arm usually isn't accurate. So I try and maintain that cohesiveness. And then finally, Jordan, thank you for the compliment. I do really appreciate that. And I know it sounds cliche that I say it all the time, but I just want you to personally know that I do appreciate your compliments. So thank you. This question has multiple answers and really comes down to who you're selling the pictures to or for. So if I'm selling an image for stock, I can't have trademarked logos in there like the Wrangler logo. Now, if you're talking about picking out images for a consumer, say a family or a high school senior or engagements or something like that, it's a completely different ball game, and now you're picking ones that are going to look wonderful in print. Finishing this question out, regardless of who it is or what it is that you're picking the images out for, you're going to go through a standard list in your head of those things to look for when you do the initial selection, like, is my image in focus and does the image have impact? Absolutely. Along with my workshops, which are designed for everybody, I have one more spot left in the June 2019 workshop out with Jen Zeller on the DX Ranch. I'll put a link to the workshop page so you can check that out. I'm at a stoplight just so everybody knows that I'm not doing this while I'm driving. I use two. One Shot and AI Servo, which is Canon's predictive focusing method. And I have a dysfunctional relationship with that servo mode. This is a really easy question for me right here. It comes down to whatever event that you're in. That's my favorite event. Now, all joking aside, I'll go into it in my next couple videos. To be honest with you, I don't have a favorite event. My favorite part of the rodeo is, as a storyteller, it's the behind the scenes. It's the people getting ready prior to going into the box, or people getting ready prior to getting on a bull or a bronc. In fact, as I talk about this, it reminds me of the picture that I took of you as you left the polls, I believe it was, and you were kind of riding off into the sunset. It's a beautiful image of you. Ironically, as I talk about not having a favorite event, but more so the passion behind storytelling behind the scenes, I got a message from Natalie Rindlisbacher, and she shared a picture that she had printed of Jade and her dad that I took of them last year, so I'll share. So in that image that I just shared of Jade and her dad, it's the relationships that drive my work. It's that behind-the-scenes storytelling that I'm so passionate about because I recognize it in my own daughters as well. Favorite backdrop and brand? To be honest with you, I don't know the brand. The backdrop is this. Right there, it's that kind of a chocolate brown, but this, the gray wall, is probably my favorite. This is a good question. If my subject is stationary, what I'll do is have somebody use their light on their phone, and I'll have them turn it on, put it on the subject. Then I can get focus. Otherwise, I'd use a flashlight or something like that. For those of you unfamiliar with what we're talking about here, it's one of these. A white side, a gray side. Basically, you put that in front of your subject, you take the picture, and then in post-processing, you can sample the color and get accurate skin tones. All that said about white balance and gray cards and things like that, I couldn't tell you the last time that I used this. It's something that I put back there. Over the years, I purchased things and they just go back there and I no longer use them. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't use one. If you're wondering what it is, if you want to try it out, buy one. They're pretty cheap. And try and make your own custom white balance and see how it works for you. If you like it, great. Then it's done its job. All right. This one's for you, Russ. Here's my Kirby Puckett story. Notice sporting a Twins cap here. So next couple videos, how I got Kirby Puckett's autograph. When I was younger and had moved back to Minnesota, I think I was in my early 20s, I was going to school. But I was also working as a security guard at a hospital. And the hospital happened to be right near what used to be the old Metrodome. One afternoon when I came on shift, I was told to go up to the ER and cover a room up there. When I got up there, it was Kirby Puckett. Unfortunately, it was also the day that he took a fastball to the eye, ending his career. After he was seen by the doctors and cleared for release, he had a vehicle that was waiting for him out back because there was a bunch of news out front. So I escorted him down, I asked for his autograph, and like a true champ, he gave it to me. And that's my Kirby Puckett story.